Welcome back to the Alone Together podcast where the loners aren't alone. My name is Layla.
I'm Journey.
And today we wanted to talk about purpose. I feel like we talk about purpose a lot on this podcast.
Heavy topic.
And me and Journey have never shared what we feel our purpose is in this world. So I really wanted to do that. And I also wanted to talk about just the process of finding your purpose because it's different for everybody and everyone's timeline's different. So yeah, we want to share our experience, and we do believe that everybody has a purpose in this world. So, what would you define purpose as, Journey?
Well, little disclaimer. I just want to say that I think purpose is very nonlinear, and that everybody comes into their purpose at a different time. I just think that I happen to be one of those people who found it at a young age. And a lot comes with that, but I'm blessed. But not everybody is like that. Some people find their purpose way later in life. And, and that's okay. But yeah, I just wanted to say that. But I also think that there's two different purposes that we all have. The purpose for this like two-dimensional world and our being like us as humans, and then there's like our spiritual purpose, and those are completely different things, and I will talk about that throughout this episode. But yeah, how about you?
I completely agree, and I think the purpose of your spiritual being, on top of just working on yourself and taking care of yourself, I think it's also how you interact with people and kind of what you leave behind, what kind of person you are.
Yeah, for sure.
And
for sure,
how you make people feel.
For sure.
I think that's a big part. Yeah, I think that's a big part of your spiritual purpose because, I don't know, you could tell when someone is like
impacted.
Yeah.
I was going to say that. So I have two tattoos that relate to this actually, but one of them is my favorite quote. It says, "People forget what you said, people forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel." And I let that motivate me through this life and how I treat people, because it's so true. Like,
it is.
You will never forget how you made somebody feel or how someone made you feel. And that comes with if they hurt you, if they made you feel loved, whatever the case may be, they'll remember that for the rest of their life. And emotions are real. And as for like my spiritual being, my other tattoo that I have, it just says I am. And that's the sentence. Like, I think one of our purposes is to just be alive and to just be, period. Like, just exist and experience.
Yeah.
We're just put on this earth, I feel, to experience. And, whatever we choose to do with those experiences and what we heal from it and what our life hands us is our other purpose.
Yeah. I think it's putting together your wellness and your experience into how you're going to impact people in this lifetime, like what you want to do with your life. I think that's what I would define my material world or like two-dimensional purpose as. It's just finding a way to impact the world based on my experiences and what I know.
Yeah.
But also just, I think a purpose I feel for myself is just knowledge. I don't ever want to stop learning because
I like that.
There's infinite knowledge to be learned. No matter how much you know, you still don't know.
True. I think people are ignorant to that. Like,
it's so much to learn.
There's so much to learn. I truly enjoy learning. I like school when it's something I want to learn.
Yeah.
Learning is
really
cool.
Just want to like always have books in my house and just read when I'm older, no matter what stage of my life I'm at. I want to read and just learn about different things. But
I feel you. But yeah, I think it takes sitting with yourself to really know your purpose. Like, it takes going through some trials and tribulations for sure. Like, I think, I don't know. Well, first of all, maybe we should talk about what our purpose is.
Yeah, I was gonna
What
say
we
that.
think our purpose is, and then go into all our lovely points.
Yeah, so it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Yeah.
we should go into our purpose and how we like our journey of finding that.
Okay.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
All right. Okay. So I guess I'll go first. But I think that okay. So I truly believe that my purpose in this world is to be a healer and to be a resource for people to be able to feel comfortable and communicate and help them. I feel that mental health is like my biggest passion, and especially with Black people, I grew up, mental health was just like not discussed, but it is literally our health. Like it is literally a huge part of us. Our mind is our everything, and people don't take care of their mind. And with that comes mental illnesses and depression and anxiety and all types of things. But the sad part is it's so preventable. And so what I feel like my purpose is to help people who grew up like me, who are in the community like me and need the resource. I want to be a therapist and make therapy accessible, and different types of therapies and different approaches, holistic approach. Then on the flip side, like I said, my spiritual being, I also just want to experience life. Like I want to corny, but not like reach enlightenment, but like
but
live the life. Yeah, but live the life, or take the steps right to get there, and just be someone who is so deeply rooted in like my spirituality and my faith that I'm just you can feel my spirit when I walk. Is the like that's the goal of mine, just to be at peace.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. And how about you?
So I want to say first, I feel like it took me a long time to find my purpose, like in college, just doing different things. But now I feel like when I look back, I always felt like I was doing things for, it was things I like to do, but I didn't see how it fit together. But now I see how it all connects. Now that I feel that I know my purpose. And so if you feel like you're doing stuff and you just like don't know the direction, but you're called to it, I think something is coming on the way for you. So like don't just appreciate the journey and it'll come soon. But recently I was really inspired by my class. It's an amazing class, my prison education class. And it's taught by 2 lawyers, and they're like really amazing activists in the community. And I just say they're holistic healers because everything they do for the community, it's really for healing. And I think when it comes to mental health as well, a lot of things that we suffer from as far as mental health, especially in underrepresented communities, it comes from trauma. So generational trauma. So I think my purpose is also like just to help people in general. But I really want to be able to get to the root of the problem, which is like systems working against people that cause all this trauma and that cause poverty and that cause things like that. So I really want to go to law school. I think that before I can do anything, I need to learn as much as I can about like every single system that's working against us. So I love education, and I really want to be like a professor or something one day.
Me too.
Because like I always want to be in academia. I always want to be in academia, like just giving articles out and like writing articles about things that I'm passionate about. But I want it to be digestible. I think a lot of articles are written so that only a certain group of people can read them.
I like that.
I think we should be able to talk about our trauma and stuff that caused it in a palatable way so everyone can access it. So
I really like that.
Yeah, I want to make education accessible. I want to work with homeless communities, foster care, everything. But one step at a time.
Us hand in hand, working together.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like, I really hope that well, I don't hope because it's going to happen, period. That when my mental health center opens, that, you know, we can work together with that and provide
Definitely.
resources to these people. And I think it's beautiful that we both want to be professors. Well, that's my end goal, but definitely with my research that I want to put out. And I just feel like as a Black woman, I have to put out my credibility or establish my credibility. And
if also like some stuff needs to be written from the Black perspective. Most of the stuff on mental health, most of the stuff, even sometimes on our own history, will be written by white people.
Very much so.
I think it's really important to have Black people in academia. It's important to have all people in academia representing their culture and their history, because we went through it, we lived it, and that's for every community.
Agreed. I was just thinking about how I'm taking Race in America right now, one of my classes, and this like the thicker book of the that we're reading throughout the semester is written by a white man, and I just find that even though it's very unbiased and a good textbook, I will say, I just think that's interesting. Like, why aren't we writing about ourselves and putting that in the systems? Because that just makes no sense to me. But anyway, I think how, yeah, like it feels like it took a long time for me to come to find my purpose, but in the grand scheme of things, like I am young as hell.
Yeah, I'm talking about it like I'm 60 years old.
Word.
It took me a long time.
And my purpose may change. My calling may change, but I just feel that everything that I've gone through in my life and how much of a impact mental health has had on my family, like this is, you know, where I'm supposed to be. And even just how much it impacts me, like I want to help people with what helped me.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point of this podcast as well.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, but what I also wanted to say is that, you know, my purpose came from my passion. And I think people need to like sit with themselves and sit with what they're truly passionate about. And what can you do to impact the world with that? Because I don't feel that a purpose is a purpose if you're not helping others, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like I'm not on this earth to be selfish and only reap the benefits myself. Like I got to share that. If I have the resources, I have to share that.
Definitely.
Especially in the community and for my people.
That just makes me think, because I feel like there's so many different purposes, but I don't know.
There are.
I think there's a difference between a passion and a purpose, or a hobby and a purpose. I think a purpose is a really deep calling, like what impact do you want to leave on this earth? And we can have multiple hobbies, like
true that,
multiple passions. But I think, yeah, it's really important to use your passions to carry out your purpose, because then you'll never be unhappy in what you do. You're passionate about that thing and you're carrying out your purpose. So that's like leaving you full at the end of the day.
Exactly.
And when it comes to having a job and like working, we're going to have to work regardless. That's just the realistic part of this country.
Right.
But
it's just capitalism.
And it takes like a lot of time out of your life, honestly, working. When you look back at your life, it's probably a very large chunk of it. But if you're doing something you're very passionate about and you're fulfilling your purpose, then I think it's worth it.
It is worth it.
And that's why it's
important.
And
it won't feel like work.
Yeah. And it's leaving an impact. So that's a really big thing for me. Like, I just want to be passionate about what I do in my job.
Yeah.
I don't want to do something just for the money, because then, like, that's honestly a waste of life.
It is. And, you know, for so long, I think I was ignoring, like, my calling. I was pressing the red button on the call because I was so like, caught up in, like, am I going to make enough money? Is this giving me the salary that I want? And which is why I came into college being pre-med, because I was like, well, I can still work in mental health, be a psychiatrist, but I'm a doctor, so I'm making the money. But then I switched to, well, I'll just open the business and employ the psychiatrist and the psychologist. Again, pressing ignore on the call, because why would I even do that? Like, you know, and then finally it took me not getting into the business school, which would have taken me to that business route, for me to understand, like, it's being a therapist. Like, it's why I made my major psychology. It's why I'm so passionate about mental health and started even this podcast. Like, I want to be a therapist and I want to do the work like directly, you know, with the people. But it took so much, I feel like, and that was hella like stress, you know, just worrying, and changing my major was like really stressful for me.
Yeah.
And like when you're so set on what you want to do and then your whole everything changes, that has been like a repeating thing in my life that like sends me into a spiral.
Yeah,
like
it is, because it's difficult to deal with.
Yeah, like it's really hard.
It's like one of those moments where it's like, what am I doing this for?
Literally,
it's
like the commitment, and then, well, what was all that for then?
Literally.
And that's a terrible feeling, but it's a necessary feeling in this life, and it's going to happen over and over again, even when I'm carrying out my purpose, I think.
Yeah. That was a thing for me, because I feel like my problem was in academia. I was never doing what I wanted in college. I was always trying to do something else. Like, I tried to do business. I really did enjoy psychology. And
we are the same.
That's why I didn't I don't know, I didn't enjoy school anymore. But everything that I did outside of school and all of my clubs and orgs, it was all community service and stuff like that. So that's how I feel like that makes sense now, because those moments you're talking about where it's like everything you're doing is for nothing, that's how I felt about school a lot. I feel like, what am I doing this for? I don't even like this. I did biology, the whole series, and I was like, what am I doing, bro? Like, I don't want to learn about this cell right now.
That's how I felt in
this
chemistry.
Is crazy,
like
microbiology.
Man.
But
the whole series is crazy.
The part that tied it all together is when I realized, like, the stuff when I was doing what I was passionate about, what it was, and really digging into that, and also just being authentic with yourself and authentic in what you do. So when it comes to your purpose, I think it's hard for people to share that sometimes, because they're scared to get shut down, and you have to be honestly very vulnerable to share your passions and your purpose, because a lot of your purpose, because a lot of people will just shut it down, or just like be like, oh yeah, that's cool, or I don't know. So
I don't think people understand how you can turn your purpose into your livelihood. Like, you can really turn your passion into your career. You can really turn your purpose into your career, but it just takes work. Like, you're going against the capitalism system of go to college, get a corporate job, and work. You know, it's now you have to put in 20 million extra hours and hustle on your own to get that funding most of the time, especially since I want to go into nonprofit work a lot. Like, that's a grind, for real. But it's so worth it in the end, because you're doing something that's going to make an impact and it's going to help people's lives. So which one, you know? And I think that's why a lot of people ignore their calling, because they're afraid of what comes with that. And which leads me to what I really point I wanted to say was, I saw this tweet by this lovely role model of mine, Ebony Davis, but basically she was saying that we oftentimes talk about the anxiety of accepting your calling or your purpose, but we don't talk about, she said we get worried about the anxiety that comes with finding the purpose, but we don't ever discuss the anxiety that comes with answering your calling and finally like accepting the purpose. And that is so relatable to me. Like, I feel such a pressure sometimes and get so overwhelmed and anxious about, like, am I going to be able to carry out what I want to do in this world? Like, am I going to be able to execute? But it's just like, once you have the determination to do it, it's going to work, I feel. But I definitely relate to that. And sometimes I just feel like immense pressure, but the pressure has to be the motivator sometimes.
It does. I definitely feel that, because, like, I don't know, when I look at almost every single day, I'm like, okay, what did I do today? What did I learn today? Like, what did I take away from this day?
I like that.
And whenever a day even if it's just one day that I didn't like do anything or take anything away from it, I feel like learned, then I get down on myself. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, read a book. I'll literally be in my bed before I go to sleep. Like, no, I gotta at least read right now.
That's
like,
cute.
It's bad, but I don't know. That's just how it feels like. There's definitely anxiety around it, but if you're keeping yourself on your toes like that, you do have to just lean into it because that means you're going to get it done. That means you're going to get it done. So just surrender to your purpose. And that's why your spiritual purpose is so important too, because
Facts. Keep you grounded.
Yeah, the more you heal yourself, the more you just tap in, you could
and align,
like kind of surrender, but also just not have any attachments to it.
Yes.
Just know you're doing your best.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Full circle moment. Literally in my class, my yoga and consciousness class this week, we were talking about exactly that and how you can't have attachments to things. And that's something that is never really talked about or taught, but like a girl in my class asked, how do you not have attachment to your goals and still get them accomplished? She was like, don't you need
That's a really good question.
Right? And the teacher like sat there for a second and she was like, you can't attach yourself to the end goal because if your life takes a completely different path, you're going to be so distraught from being set on that attachment. And she was like, probably what you thought where you are right now is not where you thought you were going to be a year or 2 years ago. And she was like, sit with that for a minute. Like, yes, you were all in college, you know, trying to get to the next point and you are set probably on your careers and everything, but life can throw you in a whole different tornado and you end up somewhere else. And it's like, well, now I got to work with that.
Yeah.
But practicing being connected but not attached is really powerful. But when you're rooted in your purpose, I think that no matter where you land, you'll be able to carry that out.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say at the end, what you just said.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking the whole time. I was like, that's why it's important just to have your purpose. And then whatever you do in this lifetime, as long as it's leaning towards that purpose or fulfilling that purpose, then you'll feel whole.
Exactly.
But there's so many ways to reach your purpose when it's something broad, when it's just like, I want to help people or something like that. So
yeah, lean into the specifics of it.
Yeah. And I think also just knowing how to be intentional.
Oof, that's a big one.
That's another thing when it comes to the anxiety after you find your purpose and trying to achieve it.
Yeah.
I think it's that's like how you could reframe it. Instead of having anxiety around it, just be intentional. Every day set intentions for yourself. Know what your intention of the day is. Know what your intention in 5 months is. And also just being authentic and intentional with each person. Because you never know how you can affect someone and their purpose.
You're speaking really to me right now, brother. I was going to say, one, that has been like my biggest affirmation of the year is I am intentional. Like I want to be intentional. Everything I do, I think I've talked about this before, but just making sure that everything I do is leading up to my end goal or fulfilling me, not just doing it to do it. Like, you know, even with traveling, like I want to go places that I feel connected to, just little things like that. And I forgot the other thing that you said. That's terrible, but
yeah. And I think I'm done being a person that isn't social, an antisocial person. I'm meeting a lot of new friends, and it's really nice once you're deeply rooted in your purpose and you're vulnerable enough to share that with people. You will meet so many people that are similar to you. And I think being close to those people that have a similar purpose to you and similar passions, like people that, for me, I've been meeting a lot of activists lately. And it's just really cool because it makes your dreams and goals seem possible when you have people that have
when you surround
really similar ones.
Yeah.
And you're always talking about stuff like that and just, I don't know. You guys are very set in your goals. It's like, okay, we can all do this. And you all really can.
I think, well, I'm still in my antisocial phase. I'll admit it. But like, I definitely feel like I always tend to meet people when I need people. Like, maybe because I'm so okay with being by myself, when I do meet people, it's like normally a good person. Or when I want to give somebody my time, I should say. But Like, yeah, I feel that being around people who, mm, yeah, are similar and also just have the ambition to get after it, I think really
Yeah.
helps you and will motivate you to find your purpose if you feel like you don't have one.
Yeah. And also, I think recently I've been around a lot of people that are very um intentional with their words, I would say.
I like that.
So a lot of my friends at UCLA that I've been meeting, I will say they like give me my flowers a lot. And we all like give each other our flowers and like we'll
That's
just
great.
give each other affirmations. Like after someone talks, we'll be like, thank you for sharing that with us. Like, I don't know. It's really beautiful. And I feel like that as well, just giving people their flowers or your friends their flowers when you see them doing what they want to do or see them passionate about what they're doing is really important because, you know, we're really on this journey alone. So a lot of the time we're not going to get affirmed for like doing something on our journey that's just something we want to do or something maybe only we know about. But if you know someone's doing something, give them their flowers.
I'm really, really big on expressing gratitude to people and telling people I appreciate them and I love them because I feel like vulnerable moment. I feel like as a kid, I was really, really terrible at showing my parents I appreciated them. And like they would call me out on it. And it wasn't until I got a little more mature that I was like, all it takes is just saying it. Like, I don't have to necessarily buy them a gift or do something crazy to show that. Like, I can just tell them. And I, you know, when you're thinking about someone, just shoot the text. Like, you know, let them know you appreciate them for being your friend or being in your life. Because that goes such a long way. Like, I really appreciate when people tell me that. So I make sure to do that to others. And so
that feels good.
It does. Like we just need nice people. And that's a nice gesture. That's so simple. You could do for somebody to brighten their whole day. Like, you never know what someone's going through and the impact you have on their life. That's what you said earlier. Yes, that is a huge thing for me because, yeah, I just went on this retreat one time and like the things people said to me, I was like, I would have never thought that I like impacted you like that. That's crazy. And now I just think about that all the time, going back to people never forget how you made them feel, you know? But yeah, that's huge. I also want to say with purpose, like I feel that it really is revealed when you've gone through everything that you've gone through to lead you to that point. Like maybe it hasn't been revealed to you because you haven't gone through everything you need to go through to get there yet. And I was reading in my like little devotional book and it was like it was saying that, you know, God will reveal things to you and give things to you when you're ready. And until you're ready and like fully in alignment, you're not going to receive what you're meant to receive because you're not in the position spiritually to receive. And that really impacted me. Like just all the stuff that I went through in the last few years, I feel like was really trying on my character and my life, but it really led me to this point. And I will definitely go through some more things in my life, but that will reveal more to me. But you know, every experience is a lesson, and the lesson is preparation for the acceptance.
Yeah,
it's divine timing. It's a journey. No pun intended.
It is.
And it takes time.
It's interesting. I feel like you get like signs before you get your purpose too. Like, I don't know. And you'll just, once you're in alignment with your purpose, I feel like you'll just keep meeting people and unlocking new things.
To be more in alignment with yourself.
Yeah. And then you'll just like start noticing things like, you're more in tune with what you want to do. So you'll notice opportunities more.
Yeah.
Like when I'm on campus, once I realized like what I wanted to do, I was just looking around and looking at flyers and I was finding a bunch of cool stuff. And I was
literally same.
I've been going to it now and I'm like meeting people. So
same. No, that's crazy because when I joined my mind body studies minor, it's like they have a whole office in this in the PE building, and it's like it's a big office. I was like, hold on, I need to start coming in here. Then I met my yoga therapy teacher, which was like, oh, moment for me. And yeah, like exactly that. Once you align, everything falls into place. I was listening to a podcast this week, and she said that once she started doing for her and tapping into her and putting herself first, everything else started to fall into place that she probably could have never orchestrated on her own. Like it was just opportunities falling in her lap and just God at work. And that just comes with removing the distractions and being disciplined as well.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said like each lesson leads you to your purpose. So
yeah,
if you're caught in like a cycle and you keep going through the same thing and not learning the lesson and the takeaway from it, then you didn't learn that lesson, so you're not going to learn the next one, and it's blocking you from your purpose, and it's blocking you from your blessings and from being fruitful.
Talk about it.
And that's why it's so important, like when you're going through something, to just take away the lesson.
Yes, and really learn from it.
Learn from it and like place it, put it into place in your life.
I see that in my life right now. I think that's a huge thing for me. That's just slightly holding me back from like propelling forward. Just not fully learning the lesson and accepting what comes with learning that, which means releasing.
Yeah.
And the release and the redirecting attention inward is what I just think gets us to that next step, builds that next step in the staircase.
Yeah. For me recently, I think the biggest lesson that I've taken away is just to try to be positive, really positive, and like be a positive person to people.
Yeah.
And just being very intentional with my words. Yeah. And like, I don't know, I want to listen more. So, I think that's just like something on my personal level. Cause I was like going through something similar with the release thing. And then now that I'm like taking a step back, it's just working on myself and something I had to do on my own. And that stuff can hold us back too. Because if you're projecting on people or like doing something like that, it might be holding you back from meeting the right person, or I don't know, just getting an opportunity, fulfilling your purpose. Because you want to help people, you can't be projecting onto them. Like
you have to heal yourself if you want to heal others and help others, I think. But you know, we're not all perfect. Healing is a lifelong process. But
it is.
Being aware can be just as effective as doing the work to do it sometimes.
Yeah, and I think equally, like, as important as it is to fulfill your purpose, I think it's equally as important just to like really look at how you impact people. And just every day, I would say like just the way you talk to people and how you make
be aware.
Yeah, like being self-conscious, just being like conscious every moment is very important, because then you could give your most authentic, true like response to someone. And I think that's just as important as fulfilling your purpose, like being true to self in each moment.
Going back to your point about how you said you want to listen better, I read this book and it said we need to be taught to listen to understand, not listen to respond. And that always sits with me. And I try to work on that too when I'm listening to people, since I want to listen for a living, is just, you know, trying to hear them and be empathetic towards them instead of thinking of my response the whole time while they're talking and generating what I'm going to say next, actually sitting with what they said and thinking before I speak, because I've always had a problem with that and having no filter and just saying whatever I want.
Yeah.
And I had to learn that, like, sometimes what I say is going to hurt people's feelings. Like, that's real.
And I can't do it no more.
That I had to learn. I had to heal that part of myself.
I'm still working on it, but I wrote in my journal the other day, I was like, I need to stop being so unhinged sometimes.
That's why you journal. And sometimes when I feel like I need to say something crazy to someone, I'll just type it in my notes or I'll write them a letter in my journal. And that'll be my release point.
Not for me. It's not like that. It'll be something crazy in the moment, like an ad lib or something. Like I'm trying to.
That's just you, though. That's your personality.
I
A
know.
little bit.
Someone in my class was like, when I first saw you, I thought you were gonna be like a it girl, like standoffish, but now I know that you're like weird and quirky in your own way. I was like,
That's
yeah,
you.
I am weird.
That's what I be thinking sometimes.
I'm
These
weird.
people don't know I'm weird.
Y'all don't know I'm a whole weirdo. No, we really be. We're
That's
goofy.
what I think sometimes.
We're goofy.
Yeah, when you really get to know me, I'm goofy.
We're goofy.
I am
goobers.
goofy. Bye. No, that's actually a core memory for us.
I am dead, but
don't get so caught up in purpose all the time. You know, live. The point, your purpose will be revealed to you when you've lived the experiences you need to live to get there.
Exactly. We talk about college a lot, but your purpose doesn't come from college or none of that. I think my friend Vanessa said, she's going to be on the podcast, so look out for that. But she said, we don't get a degree for the stuff that actually shapes us. She's like, we don't get a degree for like our childhood trauma. We don't get a degree for the grief. We don't get a degree for the stuff that actually shapes us and like shapes who we are. So never like,
I love that.
Try to equate your degree to your life or your character. Like, I think I truly believe that more than anything. Like the most I've learned is from other people's stories and experiences I've gone through, and hearing other people's stories.
Life experiences.
Yeah, that's just life. And that's the most useful knowledge you could have. The knowledge of life and experience of real life things, like and more than reading any book. Like this is real life and you're right in front of them.
It's so important to not close yourself off to the world. And
definitely.
I'm definitely like victim to that. Like, you know, my antisocialness definitely closes me off sometimes, but at the same time, the beauty of life and purpose really comes from others, I think, a lot of times. And
it does.
The inspiration you get from other people and having a heart and being empathetic and experiencing heartbreak and stress and all these crazy trying emotions, like that is building us.
Yeah, my professor was saying she thinks of like your spiritual journey as a baby in the womb, and as you like experience more things, you're growing limbs. And she's like, thank you guys for like growing my limbs.
We're trees.
And for you guys for like growing limbs with us. And I was like, that's a beautiful way to think about it, because I feel like the more that you close yourself off, the less limbs you're gonna have. That's less experience and less like just less experiences, because you're closing yourself off to.
There's too much out there to experience for you to close yourself off.
And just like our episode about love, it's like the whole point of being here for all of us is just to spread love. For everyone alive, I truly believe is just to spread love and positivity. Like that's the reason why
people associate a certain connotation with love, I think, but love
we should love everyone.
Yes, like
love is life.
Yes, love is what carries us through everything. A life without love is a sad life.
If everyone loved each other, this sounds so corny, but if everyone loved each other and just real. Like looked at everyone like a human, a reflection of their selves,
not even a human,
or a soul, just a reflection of their selves, even animals, then there would be nothing wrong with the world.
Yes,
because you wouldn't be able to do all the messed up stuff that you do to people.
Yes,
if you just saw them as you. Love.
I love
that's
that.
Why you should love everyone.
Like, I love that. If we saw everyone as a reflection of ourselves, we wouldn't do the harmful things we do.
Also, I think if we just if we could somehow, every time we saw a person, could like just get a little memory warp of their whole life, then there would be no way we would judge people.
Yes, exactly. We never know what someone's going through, what they have gone through.
You really don't.
We really don't know. And even if we think we do, we don't, because we weren't there when they were alone on their last straw, feeling like, you know, there's no hope. We weren't there with them. And I feel like we just need to be compassionate and know that we've all had these moments of just lowness and sadness, happy, whatever the case may be. We're all just figuring it out. We're all just out here trying to figure it out. And if we just saw it like that, we would be so much more kinder to people, I think, and just easier, like not trying to compete so much.
Yeah.
We're all trying to get to the end goal. Like, we're all just trying to make it through life at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I'm just so like the way I look at people now. So this, my friend Yadira always says, like, I don't care what your job is or where you live. I want to know you. Like, I want to know your story.
Yes.
I want to know why you wake up every day.
That's why I can't
and why
do
you do
the
what you do.
superficial conversation.
I know,
I'm
and
too in depth.
And it's also like, I do not look at anything romantically now. Like every time I meet someone, I feel like that's been my mindset for a while now. When she said that, I was like, that's exactly how I feel. I'm like, who are you? Like, what's your
Who
story?
are you?
What made you the way you are? Like, I don't want to talk about
who traumatized you.
I don't want to, no, exactly. Like, I don't want to talk about anything that isn't fulfilling.
Like, teaching me something.
Yeah.
Because like we said, our biggest teacher is ourselves. Our biggest teacher is life. Our biggest teacher is experience. Others
give us those
experiences. Exactly. Others' knowledge. A textbook is written by someone. That's their knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Ancient scrolls, that's their knowledge, their wisdom, their healed pain from experiences.
Knowledge is infinite.
It's literally just our life. We are learning from our everyday life.
We're learning from our everyday life. We're learning from other people. We have the same thoughts and experiences as other people as well. They feel the same way as us. We go through almost identical things sometimes.
Which is why purpose is, at the end of the day, just living. Because the knowledge we gain to find our purpose is rooted in ourselves.
And for some people, I don't think it has to be anything more than that.
Yeah.
Like, if you've been through a lot of stuff, I'm like, just you living is revolutionary.
No, seriously.
Just figuring out life for some people is like,
some people's purpose, is
amazing.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
Especially like when we think about our
God's greatest soldier. You made it.
Yeah, you made it to the cavalry. God's greatest soldier award goes out to. But it really be like that for some people. I think some people are put through so much stuff in their life just because I guess God thought they could handle it. And they can. And for them, it's just coming to, like, I don't know, just being themselves. Like, some people's stories are so, like, amazing that literally just being themselves is amazing. It's revolutionary.
Isn't it funny how the people who go through the most stuff, I feel, and the most traumatic things are the nicest people?
Yes, that's how I feel about Vanessa, y'all. I can't wait to have her on this show.
Like, the people who understand the struggle.
And they give so much wisdom and they don't talk. You would never
they're
know.
Humble.
You would never know.
And that's why, man,
and that's why it's so important to be kind to everyone, because I don't know, like, you judge someone so much just off seeing them and they didn't speak to you. You really have no idea.
Sometimes silence is just the answer. I feel like that with people. I know sometimes people look at me like, whatever, like, I don't talk, I look mean, whatever. But honestly, I just choose silence most of the time.
There's power in silence.
There is. I just choose to not speak.
Being silent is way better than
I choose to listen.
Just blabbing.
I choose to listen because, frankly, if someone is blabbing, like you said, and going off, they had to get that off their chest. Yeah. So I'm just going to sit back and listen. And that's just how I feel these days.
Yeah, I just think it's really important to sit back and listen sometimes. Mm-hmm. I've been enjoying it.
I like listening to other people talk. I really do like meeting new people, like we said. I'm just antisocial, but I really do like when I meet new people because...
That don't make no sense. Antisocial.
But I do like to meet new people. Yes, I'm a introvert extrovert because I enjoy hearing people's stories and understanding their personality and what made them the way they are. That's crazy to me. We're all so different, yet the same.
So similar.
We're all just reflections of each other, just gone through different experiences.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember who, but they put it like when we were first born, we were just a soul. We were all started off as cells, and we grew. We came out the womb innocent, very innocent. Nothing has happened to us, but whoever birthed us and whatever they decided to do with us after that, that's what shaped us into who we are. But we all started off at the same point, an innocent baby coming out the womb. We're just all shaped differently through what we've gone through. And therefore, we are all the same, just different trauma.
I love that explanation of it. I always thought that though, like we're just all the same because
we're all just humans.
We're literally humans, and that's kind of how I think about it too. I always think like, what would have happened if I would have grown up exactly how you grew up and came out of your mom's stomach? We would all be the same. Like we just
it's not
don't
much
know.
Us different.
We never have been. We will never understand how someone was shaped in their exact experience.
Right.
So that's what disconnects us from thinking we're the same, but we're literally all the same.
It's just the two-dimensional things making us look different.
And that's like how similar we are is crazy if you think about it. That just shows you how the same people are because we don't have a similar experience growing up at all. So it's like for us to not have anything in common growing up except like, of course, we met each other, but be so similar, that just shows you you're not that far separated from anyone, like
at all.
I don't know.
Even a stranger. We started off as strangers, and look at us now, which is why we just got to be kind to everyone, y'all. But I encourage all y'all to really ask yourself, like, who am I? You know, like sit with that, journal that. Who am I? And fill in the blank. I am blank. And if nothing comes after that, that's completely okay too.
You can just be.
You can just be. And once you really can answer the question of who am I, everything will start to fall in place. And you can't put that answer can't be a two-dimensional thing.
It can't be a material.
It can't be your career. It can't be your family. Like, it can't be somebody else. It has to be you. And I oftentimes ask myself this, and my answer just tends to be I am a soul trying to get through this life. Because at the end of the day, that is all I am.
Yes. That's all we all are.
It is. And if we all saw each other as that, we might have world peace.
We're going to bring back the 60s, world peace. We're going to have a world peace campaign coming up, y'all. Stay tuned.
Yes.
We shut down the park. I want to. That would be so cool.
Alone together day.
Yes, it would just be like a world peace. We'll have Ryan DJing.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Heard Rasta music.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Well, we thank y'all so much for listening to this. This was a really honest conversation today, and I'm glad we got to discuss this. This is heavy, and it needs to be talked about, though, especially at our age.
Yep. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
All that.
So,
bye.
Bye.